Hello, viewers. Dr. Said Ahmed and I welcome you to the next edition of Development Talks. Today, we are very fortunate to have Dr. Jamil Khan, who is Associate Professor and is starting a new position as the Dean of Engineering of Sydney Institute of Technology and Engineering. He worked in the University of Newcastle, Australia for the last 24 years, heading the telecommunications, engineering, teaching, and research programs. He has also worked as an academic in Massey University, New Zealand, University of Strathclyde, Scotland, and University of Dhaka. He is a life senior member of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. He received his PhD in Electronics and Electrical Engineering from the University of Strathclyde, Scotland. So, Dr. Jamil Yusuf Khan, welcome to this platform of Development Talks. So, in case I missed any point, would you like to supplement or complement what I introduced about you?
Sure. Thank you, Jay, for introducing me. Yes, I've been working as an academic, as a researcher for over the last 40 years in the areas of electronics, telecommunication, engineering, and Internet of Things. So I worked in both in academia as well as in industry. But although the directly industry working was a brief period when I worked in UK for the development of 3G mobile phones in in the early 90s. So I have worked in 4 different universities, 3 different continents and 4 different countries, and teaching these areas. So I have seen significant changes both in the research and the teaching areas, which now we can see that we are now pacing ahead at an exponential rate in the ICT sector, which is now helping not only the traditional telecommunication activity, but large areas of industrial sector, including medical, transport, and so on, energy, and so on. So, with my vast experience in this education research as well as the industry interaction, I would like to present some of my views in this group. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jamil Yusuf Khan. So basically, and your background actually fits very well with the present developments in Bangladesh. So in view of that and in view of your background, I would like to ask you, request you to enlighten us on the 3 main themes. The first being, how can we tailor Bangladesh's education systems to serve the industry requirements of today and tomorrow? And secondly, why we need to increase industry-academia collaboration? And thirdly, how Bangladesh can navigate in the global automation trend. So feel free to give a talk in your way, in any sequence you would like to, but basically to touch upon and give us some insights on your insights about these 3 themes. Dr. Jamil Yusuf Khan, the platform is yours.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now, I think I will start in the sequence, in the same sequence that you have asked me the question. So first, I would like to address how we can tailor the Bangladesh education system to serve industrial requirements of today and tomorrow. I think this is a very important and valid question for now, because as you can see that the industry is moving ahead at a very fast speed. That you can see that the industrial cycle in 80s and 90s was quite long. That means if a product needs to be developed, it used to take 7, 8 years, and the product stayed in the market for maybe 10, 15 years. Now the development cycle is becoming shorter. Products are coming more frequently, but some cases the cycle they stay here is shorter. So what that is mean for the education system in Bangladesh? That means that education system has to be extremely adaptive and be able to keep in pace with the development of the new technologies and the new concepts. So I think I would like to address this issue from the STEM point of view. STEM is, as you know, that STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. because STEM is now the main focus of most of the education and industrial sector, because these are the area when integrated provide you strong capabilities for the current and future development. So if we talk about from the STEM point of view, then I think we have to talk about both for education as well as training issues, because you have to see that in this area we have got professionals, we have got paraprofessionals or sub-professionals, and we need to train them and educate them both of these sectors so that they can contribute significantly in the industrial development. Because if you say, for example, if you simply train on engineers, and if he or the engineers don't see enough qualified technical staff to support their activities, then you do not see that um, the industrial development is possible. So I think the in this context, I think in Bangladesh, the education sector, if I call it a tertiary education sector in the STEM area, but in some cases there are a lot of jitters there, because I don't think the all the institutions are addressing the needs of the current and future industry in the same way, because the STEM education areas, like in we now consider the development of the STEM program should be based on very strong fundamental basis. That means we based on the foundation years, on the basic science. Basic science is advancing, but some of the things we still use what we used to use the 60s, 70s, 80s, because they provide the ability to the graduates that they can adapt themselves when the technology changes, because most of the technology comes from the on the basis of the basic science and basic technology. So the issue is that I think what the education systems here need to address, that they have to develop their programs which is strongly based on the fundamentals, both in science, engineering, technology fundamentals, all need to be integrated properly. And so, for example, if I say that in some computing area, some programs may only probably put some emphasis on coding or maybe on certain areas, whereas they might ignore the some strong mathematical background they need, because now we are looking at that everybody or most of the things will be controlled by the artificial intelligence. Now, how do you develop your artificial intelligence algorithm? Because these are based on uh, the mathematical and statistical theories, and you have to understand some of them. So I think if we want to talk about the serving the need of the future industry as well as even the current industry, I think most of the programs should address these foundation years should be very much based on the basic science, basic engineering, basic technology, and then the professional years should be linked to the industrial development. Because one thing the programs need to do is that they need to also address the real world problems, because many programs are they're based on textbooks only. You cannot develop good engineers or good scientists by using only textbook based programs. So I think the addressing the real world problem in professional years will give the students more exposure to the current and future industry. And obviously, some research is also very important, because just I was involved developing a new institute. This will be the first private engineering institute in Australia. So we had to develop a lot of our proposals for the government approval, and we have to show there that we have got strong fundamentals in the on the scientific areas as well as engineering, and then we have got professional years where we look at the more problem-based learning. We try to address the real-world problems rather than restricting ourselves within the textbooks. So that is one area. Now, another key factor to
So if I
program
may
is,
ask you, Dr. Jamil, if I got you right, I think you have completed your graduation here in the University of Dhaka, and we
Yep.
have studied in Bangladesh University Engineering Technology. So
Mhm.
you can make a comparison in that sense. So the curriculum that we had to follow or you had to follow, so how can we strengthen, I think very specifically strengthen the curriculum to have industry applications? And do you think that it is, I mean, as it stands now, the curriculum of electrical engineering, electronics, or applied physics electronics, where you studied in University of Dhaka during your graduation in those days. So can you just give a kind of very brief comparison? Then you go to your next themes or whatever way you like to. Just I am a little curious about it.
Yeah. Okay. So if I talk about the university you have studied, the engineering BUET, I think they have got good programs in electrical engineering, computing, and these sort of areas. Uh, and you have got good teaching staff. But one of the things I found there is a deficiency there. Some of the senior teaching staff who might have done their higher degrees some time ago may be too much involved in other activities rather than enhancing themselves in the research areas and that sort of thing. So that put a bit of a dent on the quality of the program. Because yes, you did a PhD, you were a very good student, you have done good publications maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but since then it has moved on quite significantly. Whereas maybe the junior staff who might have finished PhD 2, 3 years ago and still be active, try to be active in the research area, they may be more in line with what's happening in the industry. So I think the definitely the engineering programs in the BUET is very good. But also another thing is that you have got very good students there. So the students themselves drive or force their academics to teach them in a more contemporary ways. In my old department, the applied physics don't exist anymore. It has now converted into electrical and electronic engineering department. It's a 4-year engineering department. Now, one of the things difference we had before is that many of the teaching staff are no longer involved in the research activities, which give them the sufficient knowledge to find out what is happening in international areas. Because one thing is very important for us who work in the Western industry, Western universities. We had very strong requirements of publications and what we call is a H index. That means you don't only publish your papers. The H index tells you that how many people read your paper, how many cite your paper. When the people think that okay, that guy has written a good paper which has got good information or good knowledge, then I am citing that paper because that is a good paper. Also, many industries cite your paper in their work, particularly when they apply, because many of the concepts developed by the academics, which is picked up by the industry, and then further producing the product or technology. So I think in that context, I would say that the program as a whole is good. There are good academic staff in your university, and they are good. They are teaching in a good way. But I think some of the senior staff get a little bit distracted because they are involved in too many things other than the research and teaching. Like as we have done in our in Western universities, and many of your friends are probably in different Western universities, that every year everybody is evaluated based on their outcomes, and that is a very important issue to maintain the quality of the program so that all the academics are in tune with the industry. So I think that the issue is that the education industry and education sector ranking case is people consider them very seriously nowadays. And within the university ranking, there are various ranking engines there. But if you look to the Times Higher Education ranking there, which is one of the key ranking engines, they consider research as a very serious topic. So I think if our universities want to increase their international focus and international standing, both in teaching and research and industrial contribution, I think they need to increase their research outcomes. particularly the
Yeah.
senior
No,
staff
I think that's
should be
yes.
remade.
Yes, yes, and I fully agree,
Yeah, yeah.
Dr. Zamil
I,
Khan.
I think
So, mhm, mhm. Now, I actually then I would also be or we would be curious to know, in your view, based on your experience, do you think in Bangladeshi context, there is enough industry and academia collaboration? Actually, our general perception, maybe not. Industry academia collaboration.
if I go back from the question you asked, that do, have we got enough linkage between the academia and industry here in an appropriate way? I think if I look first at the industry, how the industry work in Bangladesh, most of the industrial sector in Bangladesh is not producer of technology. They are just user of technology or bring the technology from somewhere else. Now, obviously, we need some interaction between industry and academic to condition those technology for the Bangladesh scenario, the Bangladesh. But I don't see much. I have seen some work from your university. They work in the different big industry, particularly maybe civil engineering is very much involved in a lot of big construction projects with the big industries. Also, I recently saw some of the research group working talking about traffic control systems and things like those. But I think the linkage is weak. But also in the BUET, you have got various labs to test various industrial products to give certification or for giving their quality test there. But what I don't see here is that we don't see that the industry academic collaboration goes there to develop homegrown technology. If we compare ourselves with India, which is has got very strong
Mhm.
ICT based industrial base, there you can see that so many homegrown uh, companies have grown from very small companies to the large worldwide company by having collaboration with the different um, institute like IITs and various universities. So I think that, say for example, let's go to the very simple example, which is in my area. Let's say that we want to develop traffic systems. We want to simply develop traffic systems. Then the question is that nowadays, if you have got, let's say, if we consider the road from, say, Mirpur Road, which is up to the New Market area, there are a number of junctions at the different points there where traffic joins or traffic departs the main road there. Now, if we want to develop a good traffic system there, then what we have to do is that we have to be able to find the real-time information that how much traffic coming in, how much traffic going out, what are the problems in the different areas. And by that way, if we can direct the traffic using automation system, then it might help some congestion. Now, this is a concept. This is a concept. And I see that some groups in the BUET is also talking about developing some technology. If we can develop some product based on some research in this area, then maybe the local company who develop either sell their patent to other companies or overseas companies, or they can sell their product to the other companies. So what I want to see, that I think in order to develop capabilities, that you have to do the problem-based learning in the universities and try to connect your research with solving the problem, real world problem. Now, real world problems could be some very simple problems to very complex problems there. Now, it's up to the groups to decide that which problem they can attack or which problem they can solve. But it requires a continuous work, dedicated work between the groups. Like if I take a couple of minutes to give my area, I work in the European project called RACE. That time, we had 14 countries in the Europe were involved in developing the 3G system, the 3G mobile system. And I was part of what we call the channel management system at the University of Strathclyde. And 14 different research groups from universities and industry were involved developing solving a certain problem. Like our partner was British Telecom Italia, then French Telecom, but there are 6 other universities there. So we worked about the group worked about 6-7 years before a product is developed and standardized and suddenly came through. So here, I think both government and the private sector should try to emphasize that, okay, let's try to develop some technology. It could be simple to medium technology, while students
So
will be involved,
basically, you are implying
academics involved.
public-private partnership, public public-private partnership, basically.
Of course,
Basically.
yes.
Dr. Zamil Khan,
Dr.
in
Said
this,
might know that.
yes,
Yes, yes.
in this context, actually, uh, there has been some development in Bangladesh. Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, BIDA, they are also exploring opportunities for semiconductors, and various teams came to Bangladesh. Semiconductor seems to be an opportune industry for Bangladesh. The reason why I'm raising this point to you, because you are an expert in this field, that if they basically it's a foreign direct investment, but our students here could also be trained, and could also be, our education system could also be aligned. Do you see any opportunity in that area? Because that is a new development, and that is a new opportunity, maybe.
The semiconductor technology is a multidisciplinary technology. You require good engineers, good physicists, good chemists, good mathematicians, good technicians, all sort of things there. Now the question, I mean, I can give you a idea that in 2007, I think, some of us, the Bangladeshi academics, both from North America, Australia, and Europe, we organized a conference in Dhaka, an IEEE conference in Dhaka. And that time, an Bangladeshi entrepreneur in semiconductor area, he wanted to bring a company in Bangladesh. And what he was trying to do is that simply packages the RFID chip, the radio frequency ID chip there. So he wanted to set up an industry here. And he came to our conference. He was one of the speakers there. And I think the telecommunication minister at that time, Bangladesh government came here, and a lot of enthusiasm there to have that industry running here. But unfortunately, I see that that gentleman who came here to develop this industry left the country in 6 months. Now, there are issues there. I think one of the things is that the question is that, do we have the training facility, education facility to produce the engineers and scientists to the same level that required? Because semiconductor industry is a very high-tech industry. And I think only few countries in the world are doing well in the semiconductor industry. I think if I take it, probably 7 or 8 countries who are the leading ones in the semiconductor area. So I think the idea is good, but the question is that you need a lot of infrastructure to implement that idea. Like you can see that Taiwan, South Korea, obviously Japan is leading for a long time. They came new, say last 20 years. And Taiwan is the biggest chip maker now, one of the biggest chip makers. South Korea, the Samsung, LG, they are the most advanced chip maker now. Now you can see in the AI, US was thinking that, oh, we are much ahead, very complex AI processors, but now that concept is gone. China has come to that level. So I think this is a good idea, but the question is that, has the BIDS find that there is enough sufficient infrastructure, sufficient capabilities here that exist in Bangladesh? Because in semiconductor, if I remember when I was studying here, yes, physics department has a semiconductor lab there, and the people there were good professors there. And in fact, one of the professors at that time, I probably say in politics, Professor Moin Khan in the BNP, he's one of the physics top professors. But I heard that lab disappeared probably 30 years ago. That doesn't exist anymore. I'm not sure that whether any semiconductor lab exists in the BUET.
I have recently been to the nanomaterials and ceramic engineering department in BUET, and also the electronics and electrical engineering department. Both departments are working on the prospects of semiconductor, and the current government has taken an initiative to prepare a working paper or sort of action plan to develop this industry. And what I could gather from them is that they're focusing on the less technology intensive part of the chain, which is assembly, packaging, and testing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Because they think that this
Package, yeah.
it would be the easiest for Bangladesh to try to enter.
Mhm.
And yeah, and they're trying to train some people, as you know, we need people who can work in this, and there are some companies also who are willing to invest on this. The challenge is, as you can guess easily, is that so keeping resources. Once you train them, they once they become
Disappears.
knowledgeable, they find better opportunities elsewhere. And secondly,
Yeah.
securing jobs, orders, from overseas. So these are the challenge they are facing. And but anyway, this is the first time that government has taken a proactive action to prepare an action plan and working paper, and which is expected by the end of this month. So we can let's wait and see what the suggestion they come up with.
Yeah.
But
So
Dr. Jamil Khan, you can also have your recommendation in this regard, if you can
Yes, of
supplement
course.
and complement. And that's
Yes,
why you
yes.
are here. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, this is a good area, but I think one thing is that if you tap into the experience of the other countries, if you look at for example, if I look at the Taiwan, what they did when they developing the industry, they actually got back a lot of top academics and engineers from who are Taiwanese based or Taiwanese origin from developed countries back to those countries in order to look over those programs and to train their people. Because to be honest, many people here may have worked in that industry long time ago when they're doing PhDs or maybe doing something else in the Western countries there. But since then, technology has moved significantly there. So I think that in order to make these programs more successful, I think they have to infuse some good brains from overseas also, and with the local academics, researchers, and so on, so that it actually see the success of light. And also, you have to build and work with some industry partners, overseas industry partners, who may be able to hold your hand to take you to the next step. So I'm not saying that this is a bad idea, but my only reservation is that there are many initiatives that have taken like that. And also, one thing is that they should be inclusive. Only one university should not involve in this case. Like as I said, that semiconductor, yes, packaging is mostly engineering problem. Packaging is mostly engineering problem, but I think there are contributions of science like applied chemistry, physics there, that some involved there. So I hope that new initiative becomes successful, but I would suggest that they infuse some people from overseas who are currently maybe working in those industry or university research areas.
No,
Yeah,
that's very good.
that's a very
great.
good point you have made. Yeah. In when I see them again, my colleagues or my friends, I will certainly raise this point with them, which you have just mentioned.
So
one thing is
yeah,
just
please.
one thing.
Yeah,
You can
sure,
see that
sure.
overseas, like if you see that the development of China and India in many technologies area, they have run lots of projects with the European, US, Canada, North American countries, joint projects there. So like in Australia also, for example, we have got a lot of research collaboration with the European Union project. So I think what you need to do is that definitely there are a lot of good people here, but try to be global. Try to be global. Bring some people from outside. Maybe they are Bangladeshi origin or may not be Bangladeshi origin, but trying to bring them in your fold so you might see better success.
No, that's a very valid point and very crucial point. Last but not the least, I think you have enlightened on us on various first two themes. But last but not the least, as I said, I mean, how Bangladesh can navigate in the global automation trend. I think that is also a kind of hot topic these days. And it has a relation with employment generation, or rather missed opportunity in employment also, because Bangladesh comparatively the labor is cheap. So what's your view on that?
If we come to the automation area, the automation, my myth of automation, that if the automation comes, the jobs will disappear. That's not true actually, because if you see that with the automation more and more, because jobs have been now diversified, more and more area which we couldn't do before, now we can do because of the automation. Now, one of the things that the automation is that also brings prosperity to the society and the industry. Because let's say that if we can reduce the traffic jam in Dhaka by, say, somebody take 1 hour to go to office, if we bring them to, say, 30 minutes or 20 minutes, then you can save petrol costs, you can save their time costs, you can increase the productivity and all sort of things there. So the question is that what level of automation we should bring here? There are various levels of automation. Some automation do harm to the society and people. Some automation gives a significant boost to the society, economy, and public infrastructure. So I think we should dive into the area, in the automation area. We should try to be developer of the automation technology rather than only user of automation technology. Because we can do simple things, very simple things. Like let's say that, for example, we quite often see that the water system is failing because either pipe is blowing up or pipe is blocked somewhere or something like that. Like, I give you an example. The Sydney Water in Australia is now using floating robots in the large distribution of pipes to see the problems anywhere that might appear in the pipe. Because you know that you guys are civil engineers, that when the water flow on the pipe, the bottom side of the pipe loses the thickness much faster than the upper side of the pipe because of the drag and the friction, and that comes in there. So what we are doing is that they are doing the proactive system there, that they know that why the problem might appear, and that they repair the problem before the problem might appear by using the information that is obtained by the sensors, by the floating robot there. So we do the one thing is that another thing I think I should have emphasis that our polytechnic sector needs to be strengthened very much. Dr. Sahin knows very well that how much contribution the TAFE sector, the polytechnic sector, Australia made contributes towards the industrial development, because the technicians are not just for typing like that. They are also be a partner of the engineers and scientists to develop things. So my view is that yes, we should dive into the global automation. Automation is gone too far. That a lot of things are coming up. Some things may be detrimental to the system. For example, I'm not a big fan of AI, because AI will bring a lot of bad things, also a lot of good things. So we have to basically go through and see for our society, our country, our system, what would be the better things to bring in here. Because I have seen a lot of money being thrown into the system and gone to the drain, and nothing happened, because either you bring the wrong system here, or you bring the system here which you cannot operate, because we do not have trained people here. So I think automation is very important, and I think I don't support the idea that we got big population, so we should avoid automation. I think that's totally false. That's totally false, and that is detrimental to our development.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jamil Khan. We are nearing the end of the program, today's development talk. Actually, on behalf of the Development Talk platform, Dr. Said and I, we extend our heartiest and sincerest thanks and gratitude to you for making time for us from your busy schedule in Dhaka. And we look forward to invite you again. I think you are a scholar, you are an author in this area. I think in any interesting topic, maybe in future. And if Said doesn't have any specific question to ask, so maybe Dr. Jamil Khan, if you permit, we may conclude today's Development Talk edition, and hope to see you again.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you. Also, thank you from my side, Dr. Jamil. And I think when this working paper is published for review, we can have another session with Dr. Jamil on
Yes,
this topic.
sure. Yeah,
This is very
sure.
important.
Sure, sure.
If I
Yes,
can,
please,
if I can
Dr. Jamil
suggest
Khan.
also, I think there are a lot more good people all over the world, better than me, who are maybe some of your fellow colleagues there. I think we should have some sort of open forum where maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people involved there, and maybe get some students involved there who may be interested to talk to the people, so that we can exchange the views and ideas with the young generation to basically push them to develop new ideas and new areas.
Sure, sure. I think it's a very good idea, and you are best placed to advise and guide us to whom to invite. I think in our next talk, then we can maybe have a group discussion. You can also be part of that development talk, Dr. Jamil Khan. I think that's a very good idea. Excellent. So with that note of appreciation and gratitude to you, maybe we conclude today's development talk edition. Thank you very much. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Jamil.
Thank you to both of you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.